Okay, and just to wrap up this end of year 3, start of year 4 off the grid video, I'm in the power room, aka shed A. I did make a video towards the end of winter there, or just at the end of winter, showing the batteries and talking about them quite a bit. I can't remember what I said in the video now, but I don't want to risk repeating it now, especially since I've got to get to MavTech. But yeah, just a quick look around, you know. Yeah, it's still a bewildering array of equipment, which I love, you know. It's, you know, a lot of it made by my own hand, or installed and configured, at least, you know. Some things made, of course, like this here, the real-time diversion controller, down to circuit level. Some things used in really odd ways, like the stecker to drive that and whatnot. Multimeter being used as a panel meter. Before I realised I could get those, you know, those LED meters really, really cheap. And funny thing is, actually, none of those have actually made it into this shed, which is really quite amusing. I mean, on this backup battery bank here, I'm just using this battery tester we got from Electric Blue on the way out to Castle Point once. This is the backup battery bank that I use to supplement the A bank over here, which is, as you can see, is quite small, and it's not going to get any bigger. It's just going to be replaced hopefully with better batteries when I've got them, or worse batteries when I don't and the battery needs replacing. But I'm kind of learning that parallel battery banks, 4 batteries is about the maximum you really want. You don't really want to go any more than that, so that's why this backup battery thing is kind of good for me, because you can have your 4 main batteries and then you can do whatever you like with the backup bank, because it's usually operating at really low currents. It's not so much of an issue. And there's the night batteries, and I see a bit of nasty vine growing up over there, which I might have to get at. I might have to get at that. There we go. Got you. Convolvulus, morning glory. Yeah. You can get you really wasted if you prepare it right, but it's a pain in the ass. The tractor battery out in the battery box there with the 10 volt bank recently decided to become a 10 volt battery itself, so it's now part of the 10 volt bank. So I bought this one in. It was just lying around in the B shed. It used to be part of the 96 volt bank in there when I had that 96 volt UPS running in there in the first year off the grid to run our dishwasher when the generator was on. That's another story. But I bought this in, and it's basically a pilot battery, so it basically allows this charge controller to operate at a higher voltage while not pumping up these gels, which I've always had trouble with from the day I bought them, of being really sensitive to overcharging. In fact, when you're not overcharging them, they act like they're being overcharged by frothing, you know, pumping out a bit of liquid at the top. Well, that seems to have abated now, but I think these are on the way out. I've been watching over these for the last few days. Got one more of these which is in fairly good nick, which I could swap out for one, but these were some of the earlier batteries I got, of course. But like I say, I don't want to talk about this and repeat myself too much, but this is a fairly new adjustment here. There's the wiring there for my infamous 8 volt bank. It's just being fed through this festoon lamp at the moment and the standard silicon rectifier. It's got a couple of shunt regulators actually installed in the battery box across each battery, but more about that when I do something a bit more with it. But it's just keeping those batteries topped up. That's a couple of those big massive 150 amp hour AGMs that I got once from the guy in Palmerston North. They've both been in the 10 volt battery bank and didn't survive in there, so now we're trying them as 8 volters. We'll see. Not really sure what I'm going to do with the current from this battery yet, although I'm thinking it might be a backup battery for the night batteries. So yeah, these X-sides have been performing nicely. I picked up another one a couple of weeks ago, just before the solstice really, from the warehouse in Palmerston North. There are actually 2 there, but one looked quite old, one didn't look so old. I picked that up. I haven't used it yet. The last one got sold, so that's the end of the story. I don't think we'll ever see these again because this line has been discontinued. But the other one's sitting over in the B shed. I'm just going to keep it topped up, and it's going to be a replacement for one of these batteries in the A bank. Not necessarily when they fail, but just soon really. But probably at the end of summer. I don't see any point in bringing it online and starting to cane it, you know, right now, because we've got heaps of power available. These older batteries will do for now, so probably about the autumn equinox, somewhere about then, I'll slip it in here, or sooner if one of these batteries actually fails. I mean, this is a funny bank. It's got 2 AGMs and 2 no maintenance car batteries, but they all seem to live pretty happily together, contrary to what people might tell you. This here is a little 6-volt top-up charger for little miniature 6-volt batteries, I guess SLAs or something I bought from J-Car, but at the moment it's just keeping this L12 battery over here alive, because I removed these before winter from being connected to the lights. So all winter we've been running just with 1 set of these, and that's actually been fine. This one here is pretty much on the way out. It's less than 4 volts now, so I don't think that'll be any use for anything. I've just got to get around to removing it from the bank. But what I'm hoping to do is buy a new one and put it in here, or a really good second-hand one, and make continued use of that special balancer circuit I built up to allow me to use a new one with an old one without stuffing the new one. You know, that circuit will do that. So, not being used for anything now, but when I get that, yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah, like I say, just got to physically get rid of that, but it means rerouting all these returns, these negative returns here, kind of go through that battery. So I've got to do a few things. I mean, there's lots of neatness thing to do. I mean, for fuck's sake, I want to move these wires here from these solar panels and put them on some breakers up here, you know, things like that. Tidy up over here, and get rid of this clip lead arrangements charge controller and put a new one on the board, possibly a Morningstar I've got replacing this. That's for the solar panel just outside the ground mount, 150, the cracked one that I fixed up. Yeah, tidying up, but for me, tidying up is something I'll do when everything else is done. You know, I'm not particularly a house proud person in that sense. You know, tidying is just something I do when there's nothing better to do. You know, of course, apart from things that have to be kind of neat or safely done up to be safe. You know, but yeah, just tidying for the sake of showing off my solar system. Nah. Well, that's not how my stuff rolls anyway. As you can see, it's kind of chaotic, and it's what makes it different from a lot of other people's. It's chaotic and it works, as opposed to being chaotic and crap. Yeah, I mean, we've been off the grid for 3 years, you know, it must work. You know, no one's been electrocuted, nothing's caught fire or anything like that, you know. It must work. Yeah. That's about it really. I should really go to Mavtech. Got this in here now. I've installed that a wee while back, and you can see some high temperatures on the sunny days we've been having recently. I've seen it up at nearly 35 in here, which is almost at the point where I'm starting to consider whether I should have fans. But there's a decent amount of airflow in here. Shit, gotta go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my little ramble on day 1096 off the grid, end of year 3, start of year 4 off the grid for us. So, you know, well, I'm not going to say if I can do it, you can do it too, because not everyone can do this like the way I've done it, because I do know quite a bit about electronics and electricity and stuff. I got, you know, but anyone that wants to go off the grid, as long as they, you know, want to learn and start simple and get sort of to know the equipment they're working with, try and not take the advice of bullshitters. You know, they can actually do it. Yeah, awesome. Well, have a good 2018 everyone, eh? You know, for us, of course, the day of summer solstice is past, so winter is coming.